that, we are more bundled up than we were in the last video because we've headed north and we are now at Congaree National Park in South Carolina. Congaree is interesting for a variety of reasons. It's one of the newest national parks. It only became a park in 2003. It's one of the largest and tallest bottomland hardwood forests, and it used to be called Congaree Swamp National Monument. And surprisingly, after they took swamp out of the name, they received more visitors. It's not actually a swamp, because a swamp means that it would be full of water for most of the year, when this is actually a floodplain, meaning it's on the banks of a river and it floods about 10 times a year. So we're expecting to see lots of very tall trees. The canopy here is like significantly taller than it is in other forests. We're going to see, so there's animals in the park that include varieties of birds and snakes and possibly alligators because of the wet swampiness. And we're gonna see what we can find and hopefully not get bitten by a snake. On the boardwalk trail, there's these handy numbers, and we have this handy self-guided tour. So if you're coming here, you should definitely pick one of those up because it tells you all these facts that you never would have known. So stop number 1, this is a beech tree, and it was a valuable source of food for American Indians and early settlers because the nuts can be ground into flour.
Stop of our self-guided tour points out the Dorovan muck, which is this very dark clay and leaf mixture sort of mud that is 8 feet thick and helps to filter the water and take out pollutants and such and keep the river and the floodplains clean. Things that we notice in the Everglades and that we're also noticing here is that slight changes in elevation can completely change what can grow. And so here we've gotten a little bit higher in elevation and now the floor is all dominated by switch cane, which is a species of cane that's closely related to sugar cane.
And what's on the other side?
Back here are all the cypress knees. And we don't know what the cypress knees are for. We just know that they grow them. It's thought that they might give extra structural help to the trees during raining and flooding, but no one's actually sure. And some of them actually look like little knees sticking out of the ground, and it's kind of weird. They're like stalagmites for trees. So we were wandering through this part and noticed that there were a lot of pine needles on the ground, but looking around we didn't really see any conifers until we came to this guy, which is huge. And Congaree is sometimes called Redwoods East, actually, because its canopy is so high and it is home to some very, very, very large trees. So if this is Congaree's idea of a large tree, I can't imagine what Redwoods is going to be like. of the path here are these plants that really just look like you took the top of a palm tree and stuck it in the ground. And they're called dwarf palmettos. And apparently South Carolina is frequently known as the palmetto state because they have a lot of them. And so it's kind of a weird contrast to see, like, over here we have a very large conifer, and then below on the forest floor are these plants that look like they should be in a tropical area.
The metal box that you can sort of see in the distance behind me is a still that was used for making moonshine or some type of bootlegged alcohol during Prohibition. So the Congaree floodplains area was not super easy for people to navigate before there were these nice boardwalks, and so people would come out here and hide out here to make their moonshine and sell it illegally. Forest. I mean, these are big trees too, but like regular forest, and
Giant pine.
Pinormous! Pinormous! Regular forest.